We live in the San Francisco Bay Area. A beautiful body of water. People spend time out here recreationally, fishing, playing with their kids, doing things every day. But the fishing is not so good, and nobody knows. The warning signs are there, but often they're misplaced in places where people can't see them and don't read them and don't pay attention to the problem that's going on with the fish they eat. Every day at the Berkeley Pier, people are fishing, setting up their poles, looking for food, wanting to make a good catch that'll feed their family.
Oh, that's where we were wondering where people put their
It's like this is the minimum size.
And what kind of fish is that?
It's a stripe.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, that's really big.
That's the big.
Yeah, the minimum size. 19.
Nice. And you're going to give that to your neighbor?
Yeah, my friend.
He's not the only one fishing for food. We were out at McNear's Beach when we noticed that the warning signs don't say anything about how toxic the water is for fishing. They mention that they want us to save the wildlife, make sure we've got our parking permit, and don't worry, we're sampling the water in case you want to swim. But if you want to fish, there would be no way for you to know if this was a safe place to do so. The signs are all over the internet. Not on all the fishing piers. Are people really informed? Should more be done to protect?
People fish these
People are
waters
fishing
for
these
food.
waters for food.
Children
are eating these fish. Something must
Something's
change.
changed.
What?
But what?
That's exactly what we want
That's
to find
exactly
out.
what we want.
Here we are at the Berkeley Marina. We walked down the pier to see just how many fishermen there might be on a Monday. We saw 9 fishermen and 23 poles set up for fishing, and we wondered if people knew what they were catching and if they were aware of any contaminants in the fish that they were catching. Container ships are in and out of the Port of Oakland constantly, contributing to the overall contamination of the San Francisco Bay. If you see us panning along the bay, here comes Treasure Island. It's a former naval base and it's now decommissioned, but during its operating years, the contamination from this site was significant. The city of San Francisco opens at the Golden Gate Bridge, where all the large ships enter and exit the bay with hundreds of different types of cargo. As we continue to pan and see Marin County at the shoreline in Richmond, home of the Chevron oil refinery, which only adds to the overall San Francisco Bay contamination. All the drains lead to the bay. All the rainwater washes into the bay every single winter, and our water here is just a pool of potential contaminants. As the fish swim and we eat those contaminants, it moves up the food chain, and then we eat the fish. Bioaccumulation process adds significantly to the contamination of the fish people catch and eat. So let's find out what people know. Yeah, let me let you, yeah. So why do you think that is? Why
there are other.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
There's certain fish they have the lids inside, so you can't have more than one or something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I read it before.
Yeah. You didn't notice the
There's
signs,
certain
though.
certain fish you can't have it.
Right. So you didn't see the signs, though, of contamination and like how much you're supposed to eat, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You did see it. So you think it's like, are you worried about that at all, or?
As long as you clean it.
Yeah.
As
Then
long
you'll
as
be
you-
okay. And do you feed like your family or just yourself?
Family, friends.
Oh yeah.
How are you doing today, or this week, or
Well,
this month?
this week is very slow. Unlike last week, we caught like 3 halibuts last last week and about 6 stripers. We fished at least 3 days last week.
Catch
You say stripers, you're talking
I
about
had a
striped
bite.
bass?
I thought I had some. Hang on just a second. We used to catch kingfish and stripers. I guess that's about it. And sometimes we catch a smelt,
Yeah.
jack smelt. Maybe it wasn't bite.
Fishing is a sport of patience, huh?
Yeah, right. Absolutely right.
You want to ask about the sign?
Did you happen to notice they have like signs at the beginning of the pier about like which fish are okay and like how often to eat
I
fish?
haven't really paid attention to that.
Yeah.
You know, I think they have some signs posted, and they might have them in different languages. I'm not certain of that, but they're not conspicuous.
Have you ever seen? Yeah, they're not conspicuous.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen any signs posted where you've fished here in the bay?
I don't really recall. I feel like I have seen one or two, but they're real. Like I said, they're not very conspicuous. They're like not on the actual pier. No, they get their information from each other, which is not always reliable. I think more conspicuous signage is probably really easy thing to do.
So more signs that are like what, every 10 or 20 feet, or just
you
where
know,
they're fishing?
Yeah, where they're fishing. I would start off with simple signage about, the myriad of disease and cancers that you can get. Put it on the bathrooms or something like that. I think it's more effective to be right there on the pier.
Yeah.
And if you just do it in a more analog sort of non-technological way, if you put it online or like if you distribute flyers, people throw that stuff away. If you can't explain it to like normal people, I mean, that's the kind of thinking you're dealing with. So it's kind of like you almost have to throw a brick at it, make it very, very obvious. Like show a graphic of a rat dying from like this poison.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it may not be very good for tourism to have all these weird signs posted up right on the bay, right?
Yeah, that's another angle to it.
So that's another
it's
angle.
Like they're keeping it on the low because they don't want people to see that.
And get all freaked out,
Hundreds or even thousands of people fish for food in San Francisco Bay. 70% of these are minorities, most of whom are Asian or Pacific Islanders. Of those people, at least 42% are completely unaware of any possible detrimental health effects from eating contaminated fish. Toxic chemicals to be found in the bay which accumulate in the fish to then be ingested by the fishermen or their families. The most common toxins are PCBs, dioxin, mercury, chloridane, DDT, and dieldrin. There are several advisories about species of fish, but there are no laws against fishing for these contaminated fish. 50% of the fish in the bay are over the toxicity limits. Most of these fish are still commonly caught and ingested by local fishermen and their families.